everyone, welcome to our week 4 review of LearnKey Microsoft Excel 2019/365 Associate, Session 4, Perform Operations by Using Formulas and Functions. Today, I will demonstrate how to earn 100% on the week 4 post-assessment. Let's get started. I've already logged into LearnKey by accessing it through www.gmetrics.net. And right here, this is session 4, perform operations by using formulas and functions. One of the things that I wanted to draw your attention to is the 100%. This is one of the things that we're looking for when we're grading. And here's lesson 1, here's lesson 2. The post-assessment. So the post-assessment has a total of 8 items. These are the same 8 items that are covered in the videos as well as the exercise labs. So let's go ahead and get started. Question number 1. Use the appropriate formulas and autofill to display the names from cells A2 through B4 in cells D2 through E4 using all capital letters. Display the names from cells A2 through B4 in cells G2 through H4 using all lowercase letters. Use cells J2 through J4 to display the length of the cells in A2 through A4. So yes, I know it sounds like a mouthful, but the best way to tackle this is to break it up into little sections. So the first thing that it wants us to do is basically we're going to convert the names in A2 through B4 into capital letters. So first, let's go ahead and click in D4, all right? And we're going to go ahead, D2, and we're going to go ahead and insert the formula to convert the name into capitals. So click on the Formulas tab, and we are dealing with text. So we'll click the drop down under text. And since this is capital letters, we will choose upper. So at this point, we have to click on the cell that we are converting to uppercase. So the cell that we're converting to uppercase in the question is A2 through B4. So let's click on A2, click OK. As you can see, it has converted Amy into all uppercase letters. We will place our cursor over the fill handle. The fill handle, you'll know that you are on the fill handle because your cursor changes from a fat plus sign to a skinny plus sign. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom in so that you can see. When you have selected a cell, in the bottom right corner, there's a dot. That is the fill handle, and that is where you're going to place your cursor as I'm demonstrating to you right now. So let me zoom back out. All right, so we'll place our cursor over the fill handle and we'll drag to the right. You'll notice that when we do that, it populates her last name also in capital letters. Now we'll populate the rest of the names. Once again, place your cursor over the fill handle and drag down. And now you have populated all of the names in capital letters. This time we're going to populate the names in lowercase letters. So this time we will place our cursor and select cell G2. And I know that I'm in G2 because the name box shows me that it's G2. And we are going to insert a formula, but this time we're going to use lower. And you'll see the little pop-up tells you you're converting all letters in a text string to lowercase. So you click on lower. Once again, we choose the cell that we're going to convert. Click OK. And now Amy is in all lowercase letters. Go to your fill handle, drag to the right, and it'll populate her last name. Go to the fill handle, drag down, and it'll populate everyone else's name. So the next thing, or the third thing that we have to do, is right here where it talks about length. Okay, so it wants us to insert a formula that lets us know how many characters are in A2. So we're going to select cell J2, and I'm in J2 right here. And this time under text, we're going to choose len, L-E-N, or length. And right there, it tells you it returns the number of characters in a string. So click here. Now, we're going to select cell A2 and then click OK. And as you can see, it now lets us know that cell A2 has 3 characters. And once again, we are going to place our cursor over the fill handle and drag down to populate the rest. Okay, next. In cell B9, multiply the contents of cell B8 and the name range. The name range is called tax rate. Then autofill the formula to cell B9. I'm sorry, M9. No problem. So let's go ahead and click in cell B9. And we are going to enter the formula. Always remember, if you are going to type a formula, it starts off with an equal sign. So you do equal sign, click on cell B8. Multiplication is the asterisk. Put the asterisk, and then we are going to type the word tax rate. The reason why this works is because cell Q2 was converted into a name range. So, and now we hit enter. And as you can see, it is multiplying cell B8 by a name range, which is called tax rate, which, by the way, guys, this is it right here. Get your cursor, place it over the fill handle, and drag to the right all the way to M9. And it will populate. Next. In cell S6, use a function to display a count of the cells from B6 through M6 that contain a number. In cell T6, use a function to display a count of the cells from B6 through M6 that contain nothing. Autofill both cells down through all of the morning classes. All right, so first thing is, let me zoom out so that I can see all of my data. And I am going to click in cell S6. And I am going to insert the count formula. So go to your formula tab, click on the drop down arrow, and you are going to choose count numbers. You are going to go to B6 and go drag all the way to M6. Hit enter. And right there, what it did was it counted how many cells in the range that I selected actually contain the number. Now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to select all of the cells in the range that are empty. So now this time what we're going to do is we are going to go to more functions and we are going to look for count blank. So I did count and here's count blank. Count blank counts the number of empty cells in a specified range of cells. So click here and now B6 through M6, hit enter, and it counted and it did it right because you can see in that range there was only one cell that was empty. So now we have to drag. So in order to do that, you just click here, select cells S6 and T6, go to your fill handle and drag down. And that's it. Move it on to the next one. So number 4, in cell Q2, insert a function that displays a yes if the total number of morning classes for January is at least 175, and a no if not. So first of all, let me zoom out so that I can see everything. All right, so what we're going to do is first, let's go to cell Q2. So we're now in cell Q2 and this is where we're going to enter the formula. Now, the formula that we're going to use for this question is the if function formula. So let's go to the formulas tab right here at the top. And it's logical. And we go to if. So now we're going to type sum. Why am I typing sum? Because the question wants you to insert a yes if the total number of morning classes for January is at least 175. The only way we're going to know if it's at least 175 is we have to add it up. That's why we're going to use sum. So you type the word sum, open parentheses, and now let's select the range. And we're doing a count, so it is S6 all the way through S20. Click here and close your parentheses. And we want to know if it is greater than or equal to 175. Next. If it is greater than or equal to 175, we want it to populate the word yes. So if it is not, we want it to populate the word no. And right here in your little preview, you can tell that once I hit OK, it is going to show the word yes. That's it. And let's move on to the next question. We're halfway through. Number 5, calculate the total for cells B4, B5, and B6 in cell B8. Autofill that total through cell M8. Then, in cell B9, calculate the sales tax through the rate in cell Q2. Autofill those values through to cell M9. Once again, let's break it up into little pieces. What's the first thing that we have to do? We have to calculate the total. The total of what? The total of cells B4, B5, and B6. Okay, and where are we going to put that total? We're going to put it in cell B8. So we have cell B8. Right here on the Home tab, there is the sum icon. So you can click on that, highlight cell B4, B5, B6, hit enter on your keyboard. The total is populated. Okay. Next, what it wants us to do is autofill that total through M8. So here's the total. Drag all the way to M8 and the total is autofilled. Next, in cell B9, let me go to B9. That's your tax rate, the tax that it wants us to add. So in cell B9, we're going to calculate the sales tax through the rate in cell Q2. This is cell Q2. So basically, what it wants us to do is it wants us to multiply the total times the tax rate, and that will tell us how much tax we need to add. So always start off with your equal sign, put equal, click on cell B8, use your multiplication sign, which is the asterisk, and then click on cell Q2. Now, the difference about this particular question is when we apply the fill, we want to make sure that the tax rate remains the same. In order to do that, we have to create an absolute value. So just to the left of the letter Q, you will enter the dollar sign. And just to the left of the number 2, you will enter another dollar sign. Hit enter on the keyboard, and right now what it did was it is calculating B8 by the tax rate. Click, go on your fill handle, drag to M9, and the tax is calculated automatically. Next. Number 6. Display the combined first and last name for cells A2 and B2 in L2, adding a space in between the first name and the last name. Then you're going to fill those values to the other names. In cell N2, you're going to combine the values of cells H2 and G2 with a delimiter of a comma and ignoring empty cells. Fill those values for the other two names. All right, so we're combining two sets of information. The first part is that we are combining the first and last name. We are basically going to separate it with a space in between. To do this, we have to use the concate formula. So let's first click in cell L2 because this is where we're entering the information. This is where we're going to enter the formula. So we are in cell L2, go to formulas, and we are dealing with text. So, and here's concate right here. This window opens up. The dialog box opens up. And it's basically asking you, okay, we are going to list a string, list a range. What's the range? Okay. What are we joining together? So right here, it tells you we're joining A2 and B2. So let's go to A2. Click here. Next, how are we going to join this information? All right. We are going to join it with a space in between. Now, some students may just want to hit the space bar and continue on and select B2. Well, it's not going to come out right if you just do it like that, because you'll notice it automatically inserted the quotation marks for you. The quotation marks need to be there. There must be quotation marks in order for the formula to calculate properly. So there you see the quotation marks. We're doing it, and it gives you a little preview. Amy Jones. Hit OK. Okay. Now, what's the next thing that it wants us to do? Fill the values to the other two names. No problem. Go to your fill handle and drag down for the other two names. Now you'll see Joe Thompson and Clarissa Watkins. The next thing is we are going to join H2 and G2. H2 is the last name in lowercase. G2 is the first name in lowercase. But we are going to separate it with a delimiter. The delimiter is going to be a comma. We are going to ignore empty cells. Right there, when you see ignore empty cells, that is a red flag that you are not using concate. What you're using is text join. So let's go to cell N2 because this is where we're entering the information. Let's go back to text and you have to scroll down and you see text join. Click on text join. It asks you, okay, no problem. What is your delimiter? Your delimiter is a comma as stated in the task in the question below. So enter a comma. Next is asking you, do you want to ignore empty cells? If you do, type the word true. If you don't, then you would not be doing the word true. So we are going to type the word true. Now, what are we joining? Okay, well, it told us we're joining H2 and we are joining G2. You will see in the preview it has Jones, comma, Amy. Hit OK. Drag down. Okay. And that's it for question number 6. Let's move on. Question number 7. Below the headings of sum, average, min, and max, add functions to get the sum, average, maximum, and minimum values for cells B6 through M6. Then autofill the results down through all the morning classes. Let me go ahead and zoom out so that you can see the entire work area. So let's go to 06 and we will first calculate the sum. The sum of what? The sum of B6 all the way through M6. So go to your formulas tab and under auto sum there's a drop down arrow. Click on sum. And now you click your range. B6 through M6. Hit enter on your keyboard. Next, let's go to P6 and enter the average. Same thing, I'm on the formulas tab, auto sum drop down, click on average. One more time, select your range, B6 through M6, enter on your keyboard. Now min. Min means the lowest value, the minimum value in a range that's selected. So I select min. I click on the range. And as you can see, if you're just glancing, the lowest number in this range right now is 24. So when I click enter, I should see the number 24 in that cell. And there it is. So now max. Max does the opposite. It gives us the maximum or the highest value in a range that I select. So what we're going to do is, one more time, drop down, click on max, select your range, hit enter. All right. So right now we have calculated the sum, the average, the min, and the max. Okay. We're not done because we have to autofill the results down to all of the morning classes. And these are all the morning classes right here. So select your data, go to your fill handle and drag down. And now we have autofilled the results. Next, we are officially on the last question. Last question states, in cell D3, add a function to get the two leftmost numbers from cell B3. In cell E3, add a function to get the middle three numbers from cell B3. And lastly, in cell F3, add a function to get the two rightmost numbers from cell B3. You're going to autofill the three results down through the remaining products. So basically, this is an inventory number here. And this inventory number is comprised of three different types of data. It's comprised of the year, the number, and the model of the item, okay? And we want to break this number apart. So what we're going to do first is the leftmost numbers. The leftmost numbers represent the year. And if you're looking at the inventory number, it's the 17, the 16, the 18, that's the year. So go to your formulas tab at the top, okay? And we are going to go to text. And we are going to choose left. All right. What range are we going to work with? In this case, you would click in B3 because that's the range that we're looking at. And in the next box, it wants to know how many characters you want left to extract. Well, the year consists of 2 digits. So I want it to extract 2 characters. And in the preview, you'll see right here that it's going to give me 17 when I hit OK. That's good. That's what we wanted. Moving on to the number. The number consists of 3 digits, and it's in the middle. So for our formula, we are going to choose mid. Now, what text are we looking at? We're looking at the text in cell B3. Very important. Where it says start num, basically what it wants to know is at what point do you want me to start counting or looking at the data? If you look at this number right here, 17-002-01, you have to consider the dashes as a character. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would insert the number 4 there because I want the formula to start calculating beginning with the 4th character. And how many characters do I want it to calculate? I want it to calculate 3 characters. In the preview, you'll see where it says 002. Next, we're going to insert the function to extract the model number. The model number is on the right, and it consists of 2 characters. So go to insert, go to right. Let's choose our text right here, B3. And this time, like I said, I want it to consider the 2 rightmost characters. So 2. And you'll see now it has broken this number, this inventory number, it has broken it apart into the year, the number, and the model. We're going to select all 3 and we will drag down and it will do the same for the rest of the items. Hit next, hit submit, hit OK. Okay, and this is where you will get your 100%. Okay, I hope that you guys found this helpful, and I hope that you guys are reviewing these from time to time so that you can remember how to complete these tasks. Otherwise, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week for week 5.